If they couldn't speak, would their actions make you feel loved? I want you to think about it, and whatever your answer is, do with that what you will.
Look how happy she is to find reason number 4078 to disqualify a man and be upset with a man. You know, it's a billion-dollar industry these days to provide women with reasons to be upset. In my previous video, I was talking about how romance is used as a tool for social control. And what we do is we teach women entitlement and we teach boys to sacrifice themselves. We teach and indoctrinate entitlement into girls by teaching them that love is a feeling that they will feel once a man has sacrificed himself for her. This is what is being referred to when women talk of a declaration of love. She has been conditioned to believe she is only loved when she is made to feel special, admired, valued, and chosen. This is why women feel like you don't love them when she sees you are not making any sacrifices for her. And this is why I keep telling you that women are not designed to be your piece. They are manufactured to be the exact opposite of that through society, culture, the family, politics, law, and now feminism. On the flip side, we teach boys that love is something to be earned. And if they want the love of a woman, he needs to earn it, to sacrifice himself for it. So the boy feels he cannot give love without his sacrifice, and the boy feels he cannot feel love without it being earned. We teach boys that he is to prove himself to women, and if a woman does not want him, he is to do more to prove himself. We teach boys the most noble and virtuous thing he could do in life is find a nice girl, commit himself to her, and start a family. This is reflected in all media, and if you look at women's help channels, advice and motivation channels, relationship and advice channels, they are all regurgitating the same thing, which is to raise your standards, expand on your entitlements, that you always deserve better no matter what, and you are always worthy of more. And it works. That's why she doesn't need to... that you don't need to say anything else to women. That works because the psychological and emotional work has already been done. This is the romanticization of children. This is how romance is used as a tool for social control. The men have already been conditioned. This triggers the man's desire to prove himself. This triggers the man's desire to sacrifice himself. The woman's displeasure triggers this. And this is the reason why women don't have to provide you with value. This is the reason why women don't have to provide you with incentives. This is why she doesn't have to do her role. And this is the reason why you 150% have to do yours. You have to provide value and incentives for her to even touch you. But yet all she needs to do to get you going, to get you to do what she wants you to do, is guilt, shame you, expose her to her emotionality. You've been conditioned to be terrified of a woman's emotionality. It started when you was a little boy with your mother, and then all of the women around you when you went to school, what you see on TV. Everything has conditioned you to be terrified of a woman's displeasure. Even just women being unhappy around you, you've been conditioned to feel like it's your fault. Some people have just been literally just told it's their fault, which is quite funny. I guess it's not funny. I like to look at, when I say that the modern day man is absolutely terrified of a woman's emotionality, this is the best way to look at it. You know, like if you've ever had like a younger sibling, I haven't, but I'm just saying, if you've had like a younger sibling, and you're playing upstairs, you're playing and you do something and you mash him up accidentally and he starts screaming and you're like, shit. And then you can already hear your dad coming up the stairs, right? And you're like, oh, and you're cuddling him. You're like, oh, shush, I'll get you a sweet. Like, what do you want? Like, I'll let you play my video game. Like, oh, like, please stop crying. That's how the modern day man has been conditioned to be like with women. Absolutely terrified of it. So I've learned this from women, because women say weaponized everything. So I've learned this terminology. I think I'm the first to say it, but I call it weaponized emotionality, where women use their emotionality as a tool to get you to do what they want you to do. And it works as a collective, so it's not just her, but it's your sister, it's her friends, it's your mum, it's her mum. It's a collective group energy. And yeah, it works as psychological warfare to men. And so basically, so I'm not a therapist, I'm a dating coach. So this is the reason why I tell you guys that it's absolutely imperative to destroy the ego of your woman. Now, you do this through seduction. Okay, so, and you don't destroy it yourself. I feel like some men feel the natural desire to do it, and what they do it by belittling her. They do it by lowering her self-esteem. That's not how to do it. That's the wrong way to do it. That's the lame way to do it. The way you're supposed to do it, you're supposed to do it through seduction, and we're both supposed to do it to each other. This is how it works, right? Because the truth is, if you're not a people pleaser, if you're a normal person, then you're going to be emotionally unavailable to strangers. You're going to be emotionally unavailable to people who want something from you, and it's quite clear and obvious. So the truth is, we're both supposed to seduce each other into emotional availability. We're both supposed to seduce people out of our past traumas, past pleasures, right? Our ego boundaries, our pride, our entitlements. We're supposed to seduce each other out of those things and make the other person expose their authentic self. So as a man, you have to do this with your woman. And the first thing you have to absolutely make sure you're doing if you're going to enter into a intersexual dynamic with a woman is destroy the ego and her expectations. Those have to be destroyed. It's very easy to destroy a woman's ego and expectations. They're so entitled, so they don't have any confidence. What they have to power their entitlement is delusion. If you look at delusion as like glass structures and look at confidence as like a steel reinforcement. With women, most women are we raise women to be entitled. So because we raise them to be entitled, we make women have to work on their delusion, not their confidence, because entitlement isn't real, right? Entitlement isn't real. It's a fantasy. So you need delusion to power it, to keep it going. This is the reason why we raise women in fantasy wrapped bubbles, and most women spend the majority of their life making sure nobody pops it. This is a bad thing, and women don't like it. Women are also victims of this conditioning. This is a very sad thing that happens to women. It takes too long for their bubbles to burst, and by the time they are actually in reality, all of their superpowers have gone. I'm not trying to be like one of these guys. I'm just saying that's just how it happens, right? Like your youth, your enthusiasm. Anyways. Guys, it is your duty as a man to destroy her ego, or let me say a better word, to help her overcome her own ego. The woman uses her ego in a destructive way, because the woman uses her ego as a form of as a defense mechanism. The ego is not supposed to be used as that way, and the ego is only used in that way depending on the environment and society in the world. It's not a great place. It's not a place it's full of injustices, inequalities, and manipulation and lies. So the woman leads a hard life, a life where she doesn't feel safe. So she's forced to use her ego as a defense mechanism, and she's forced to water the plants of pride rather than destroying it. The man helps the woman overcome her ego by seducing her out of her ego boundaries and seducing the woman into pursuing him. In that process of the woman pursuing the man, she becomes emotionally available. She starts to get rid of the entitlements, because the man is indifferent to all of that, right? So she's forced to get rid of the entitlements. And once the entitlements are gone, she realizes that she only has delusion, and the delusion doesn't work with the man as well. So the man forces the woman to come out of fantasy and into reality. That's the man's role. And the man has to do that for the woman in adulthood, because this is how the woman protects herself in childhood. So the man's duty is to do this. And So the man is to make her submit. The man is to get her to be vulnerable. When a woman is vulnerable, she's going to surrender herself. She's going to open herself up again. And then the man is supposed to be a good man. And the man is supposed to look after her authentic self that she's exposed for you. And that's how the story goes. The ego as a defense mechanism is a poison. What most men do is that they're too afraid to destroy it, and they know they should destroy it. So because they don't do it, they let the ego of the woman take over, take control. And as I said, it's a defense mechanism. So the purpose of it's not a good purpose, right? A relationship between a man and a woman, it needs the man's drive, it needs the man's purpose. It needs the man's higher calling. Even in religion, the woman never submits to the man. The woman submits to the man with the higher calling, right? So your purpose is supposed to lead the relationship, because you're supposed to use your aggression to go and achieve, to be approach-minded. The woman will never use her ego to do those things. She would always use the ego to protect her feelings, which is always going to end up sabotaging and destroying the relationship. Fellas, do you know how many of you guys have destroyed your families because you've refused to help your woman overcome her ego, her pride, her defense mechanisms? Anyway, guys, like, follow, and subscribe to the one-on-one coaching.